Good morning or good afternoon, traders. It is Wednesday, May 22nd. Eventful day so far. We actually are expecting to see NVIDIA numbers, so the NASDAQ may be jumpy here in the after hours. We'll be taking a look at that here shortly. But it was pretty eventful because we had the FOMC. We also had, frankly, quite a bit of activity in the markets today, gold and silver especially, a little bit on oil, and so we're going to touch in all of those things. Let's do what we always do, which is to take a look at the dollar first. The dollar is rallying, and contrary to what a lot of folks believed was possible, the dollar continues its upward move, and we're in bullish fibs. The bull market in the dollar for the last year, it's actually been longer than that, but you could say that certainly in 2024 we've seen two extended bull runs here with a brief little decline. We actually just repeated that brief little decline, and now we're on the uptrend. And so a dollar move certainly provides to the upside. It certainly provides a headwind and kind of an anchor for anything priced in dollars. And what you can see is that throughout the markets today. There were other issues that compounded it, but nonetheless, a higher dollar is generally bad for dollar-priced assets. Let's take a look at oil. Frankly, oil is one of the few assets where a higher dollar has usually meant higher prices. Lower dollar has meant lower prices. We've been on a bit of a decline in the dollar, and as you can see, now that the dollar is starting to turn, oil has started finding a bit of a bottom here. I like this area, and frankly, I'll probably be looking to go long here on some breakouts to the upside, potentially targeting this upward level here in the 80, 89 to 83.47 area. So, that's kind of what I'm looking at. We had a really good downtrend today. So if you caught that, that's great. But as I said, I'm kind of looking at it from a long perspective. I certainly think I want to be long oil, especially down here in the low to mid 70s, 77 area. Looking at gold had a very tumultuous time today. We were really looking to try to buy this area up here, and for the most part, it actually worked a couple of times until it didn't. This was, I guess, the third test, and it failed on the third test. But we were really going into a support level. That support level on gold failed on the longer time frames, and once it did, it just came right back through. We are below the trend line, and we did not take any positions after we got caught out of our longs, but we had been frankly taking longs at each of these levels here, and really playing the wicks and the moves back. So this one did catch us a little bit, but that's trading. And where does it go from here? Well, there is potentially, if we get more of a downtrend, there is a daily long Fibonacci setup. We're not sure if that's going to trade, but we know that there is a counter trend or a short from highs to lows that should trade at some point. Right now, we're trading smaller extensions. So one way or another, I do think that there is a chance for gold to rally back and at least test the 24.16 level on futures here. So that's kind of what we'll be looking at. Silver also had a bad day. Silver actually broke down from its flag, and one of the things that you'll notice is that it had traded perfect fibs actually in that breakdown, and that perfect fib actually went right to its TP2, and then we actually had another fib that traded, and this one was a front run. And that front run actually ended up trading the 23.6% line here. Let me modify this setting so that you can see it. And that 23.6% line trade in silver helped us come down to the negative 23.6% line objective. So silver has hit all of its objectives. Yes, there is a chance for a bounce, but when you look at the daily chart on silver and the weekly chart on silver, one could say that this is certainly resistance. It has been in the past, and we had been really up here. We're potentially selling off. This was a pretty big one, but we are still up above the 29.84 level, which I deem as really critical and necessary for it to maintain it. If it can maintain this level on a weekly basis, that would be somewhat of a positive. I do expect, though, that given the weakness in this market, we should probably see a move back to challenge that level, and then we'll see if silver can hold it or not. That's what we're looking at here on silver. And then we've got platinum and copper. Well, they had, frankly, the days that you would think. Copper had just a horrendous day, giving up pretty much all of its gains from Monday today, and that was probably necessary due to the daily chart. Let me share with you the daily extension, because we were way up above the Bollinger Bands. And so when you're way up above the Bollinger Bands at some point, especially when you're trading this level, there's a chance that you're going to end up selling off, and that's exactly what copper did. So it was tough to take a short, and I think I had tried to take some shorts here in copper, and I kept getting blown out because on the daily chart it would just wick up and then take you out and then come back down. Well, today it just went down, and it stayed pretty much down the whole day. And there is a chance, actually, now, given the slow stochastics and the fact that it's not embedded, that copper sees an extended downside move here. Support is going to come in at this 471.15 level. The interesting thing is we're back below $5, and we're significantly back below $5. And that was the level that the media had hyped. We're frankly looking at potentially a 3, 4, 5 day decline here in copper, because if you break this 471 level, you generally would see a move to the bottom of the fib. What ends up happening is, and you can see this here, is breaking the midpoint leads you to test the bottom of the band. Well, here we are. We didn't break this midpoint here. We rallied. So we also rallied at this level here in May. We've got another opportunity here in late May to determine whether or not we go down even further. But this is certainly something to keep an eye on if you've got the ability to handle a little bit of drawdown. A short in copper might be due here in a day or two. All right, so then let's look at stocks, and I want to bring them up because I think that it's really important to look at what's happened here, given how the Fed's changed the expectations. And the issue is that they've been pretty consistent. I think the market has just been looking for rate cuts no matter what, and now the Fed, with their meeting minutes today, basically postponed rate cuts for the foreseeable future until the data warrants it, and who knows when that's going to be. So in that environment, stocks really took a pretty big hit post FOMC, but they were selling off kind of before then. We'll look at the S&P 500 first, and I want to actually start with the daily chart, because this is kind of important. We have been basically chopping around up here. You notice that we are embedded, so there is a chance, obviously, for stocks to rally, and we had been looking for a continuation of the rally earlier today. We didn't get it on the intraday, but we still could possibly get it on the daily. If you'll notice, we really have not moved all that much. We basically are trading for lack of a better word, a balance range at the top here. And so there is, for all the potential bearishness in the stocks, there is a chance that stocks could build back and build a base and actually continue this move higher. So it's not, all is not lost here in equity land. As I said, really to get bearish on the ES, probably you've got to break below this 53.01. We tested that level today. That's somewhat of a double bottom if you look at it on an intraday basis, and we can do that. Let's look at it on the hourly basis. And you'll notice that that was a wick, and we had a wick down there. We had a couple of wicks down there. So there is this chance that you could get a rally. We were way below the hourly Bollinger Band, which does tend to mean that you rally back up at least. And you'll notice that we did rally nearly all the way to the midpoint of the hourly Bollinger Band here within the last hour. Now, let's see where we're at. We are on the smaller SMA is pointing down, and there's no question that there is a negative sentiment in the market. Where we are from a fib level, well, we actually are still a long ways away from testing the fibs. We actually haven't even tested the 38.2 or the 50 on the longer time frame basis. So, there is still a chance that the market, that equities finds itself, but we are trading, frankly, a bear fib, and I can share that with you from the top. And that's what I think we just ran into on ES. And we actually traded just above it. So we traded just above the 61.8% line, which usually is a good opportunity, a good place to sell. That's exactly what a lot of people did. They're continuing to sell it now. So obviously, NVIDIA's earnings, I don't know if they've come out yet, but I would imagine that that's going to be potential cause for movement here in both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So we've got this potential fib trading. It's bearish. 52.96 is the target. That would take us to, I think, the bull daily fibs, and we'll see which one actually works. I think that the intraday fibs, in my mind, actually tend to lead. The daily fibs tend to be good spots for potential reversals, but we're trading on an intraday chart, and we're going to go with the intraday fibs. So let's look and see what the Dow is doing. The Dow was weaker, has been weaker. I think that you can take a look at it on the daily chart, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to wipe off some of the drawings. And, when you look at the daily chart, you definitely see how it started to curl. We had frankly taken some longs here and had done quite well, but the trend line ended up breaking, and because it broke, that forced us to get out of some of those positions. We did take a late long that was taken out, but when you look at from the midpoint here, from this area, we are holding a 61.8% line even on a daily basis. So let's look at the hourly. And on the hourly, let's look at the So what you can see is on the hourly chart on YM, we did not make it above the 38.2 for a good 24 hours, from really yesterday morning to this morning. We had kind of been making this little arc, and then we just let go after 10 a.m. We started to sell off. We ended up coming back. I think we ended up trading a 50% line from this high. Well, we traded a 61.8% line. But one of the key things to notice is that we did not break any closes above that. So on the 1 hour chart, it was still bearish, and it's been bearish all the way down. Now, we'll see how this ultimately trades, but I do think that there is a fib here that has traded this 38.2% fib. It's traded a second time at the 39,808 level, and it's selling off again. So, we've got some targets down here. 39,583 is a target here. It's too bad I did not see that, because I wanted to actually trade that level 39,820 for a second time. Usually markets like to do a second test, and here I am doing the analysis and missing out on that second test. That would have been a nice sell. So you can actually look and see. You can see how we touched that wick twice in the last 15 minutes. From 4 o'clock to 4:15, that 39,820 level traded again, and now we're in a potential sell to 39,583. So we'll see. As long as we stay below this 39,819, 820, 821 level, we can see lower prices here. Looking at NASDAQ, this is the one that everybody is looking at because NVIDIA earnings are top of mind and very prescient today. What you can notice is that actually NASDAQ has held up the best out of all of the indices, which is to be expected. It's the tech stocks. It's where NVIDIA is at. NVIDIA is going to release their earnings. I don't know if they've done it yet. Let me look. Either way, NVIDIA's stock is down about $5 in the aftermarket, so that is causing a little bit of weakness here. Their estimated earnings per share is $5.49, so we have not yet seen what that earnings announcement looks like. But if we get it during this show, I will let you know. But that's going to be cause for the NASDAQ to be going up and down, and as you can see, NASDAQ at its spot is much better than the other indices. It still is on an uptrend, hitting all-time highs or hitting new highs, and basically staying right up there. It has been volatile, though, in this range. But the one thing that you can say is that the bull fibs, for the most part, except for the last one today, have held. And you could even make the case that this one certainly has held, and we have not yet hit the objective. So, we'll see what happens. If we trade below this 640, and I think that the NVIDIA earnings just hit because you can see NASDAQ trading off pretty significantly now. But, it's volatile, and who knows? I mean, now it's up. It's crazy. That is some significant moves in the NASDAQ. And now it's rallying to all-time highs and just going crazy. Those moves are $10,000 moves. Just nuts. Anyways, so NASDAQ could go into, obviously NASDAQ has hit all-time highs, it looks like. We are at all-time highs. And, so, again, it's NVIDIA, it's NASDAQ. This is probably helping the other stock indices rally as well. So that's what's going on tonight. That's going to be a lot of what happens overnight and into tomorrow will be how this trade actually gets digested. A lot of people will be looking at it. Obviously, they did well enough that the market's buying whatever it is that NVIDIA is selling in terms of AI. Market's buying a lot of it and it's going to keep powering the stock up. So we'll see. NVIDIA stock right now is trading. It's actually halted because of the earnings. So we'll see where it ultimately ends up. And then in addition to NASDAQ, we also have the Russell. Russell is the Russell 2000. It's 2,000 small caps. And you can see that we've definitely turned as well. So we've got a double top or maybe even a triple top forming. Could be a head and shoulders pattern. But if this continues on a daily basis, this would be bad for most stocks. And I think, as you can see, the Russell, the Dow, and the ES, although ES gets a lot of help because there are some big tech companies in it, including NVIDIA, but certainly the Dow and the Russell are the two that are lagging and underperforming the NASDAQ and the S&P. And so in a bearish environment, frankly, you're going to want to sell either the Dow or the Russell. The New York Composite Index, I've started tracking this. This number is still somewhat bullish. It doesn't get turned bearish until you get to 500. So there is a significant amount of stocks still rallying. And as you can see, we have not yet, we may be peaking though. So, but usually a 500 number here for this McClellan oscillator or summation index would be the point that you would look to sell. But that has not occurred, and we may be front-running that signal. That is pretty much all I've got. I do have Bitcoin that I want to bring your attention to because we know that there's lots of folks watching Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still up here at its near its all-time highs. And what Bitcoin has done is that it has broken out of its short. And we had a short here and we had been trading it, and then 3 days ago we broke it out. That may have been a foreshadowing of the NASDAQ rally. And so, what you're seeing is you're going to see continued upside here in Bitcoin. And frankly, I think I've got a price target in the 79,900 range because we're trading an extension. This extension, 79,492, that's my target. We did pierce it, but we did not hold below it, the 61.8% line. So in this environment, especially with the NVIDIA rocking and rolling and technology going through the roof, it's got a potential to pull the top off of Bitcoin and do another leg higher. And I think that's what you really started to see over the last 7 or 8 days. Anyways, that's my market wrap for today. Hope you all had a good day. I know that we had some decent trades, but we had some terrible ones as well. Got caught up in the gold and silver flush. We had that. Actually, I wanted to show you that because we had that trading quite well for a long time, and it just never. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to pull up the looking at the 4 hour. So the 4 hour here, we had this 4 hour fib level trade once, nearly a second time, a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time, a sixth time, a seventh time. It was on the eighth 4 hour bar that it started to break, and it was really the ninth one that it failed. So we had opportunities, frankly, to buy this level, and in some cases we did. So it's a tough one. A lot of times you'll see the market kind of do a reversal and move up from there. So it's just unfortunate that happened, but that's trading. Not every setup's going to work, but we did have. I thought we had some a decent setup there. It just happened to be that the shorts were a little bit stronger, and the momentum ended up carrying through, and it eventually cracked. I think it actually cracked in silver first because silver had the biggest flush of all. But the fact is, most of us are trading gold, and now we'll see what happens. We'll see if there is any kind of a rebound here or not. We are still trading on the shorter term time frames. We were still trading at least up until recently. We were trading this on the intraday time frame. We were actually traded this setup perfectly right down to its objective. This is an extension short that from this low point here to this low point, lows to lows extension, it traded the 61.8% line, 50 to 61.8% line perfectly, and went right down to the objective, literally stopping just above it and never closing below it. So there is probably a rally here at some point, and part of it is that you now have a potential extension that is from the original extension point down to the new low. There could be a rally overnight. We were trading up until recently a lows to lows extension, but we just broke it. So that was an extension of an extension. So what I do see overnight here potentially is a little bit of a rally into another potential sell. If you break this extension, then then it will give you at least a series short and a retracement. And this could be a significant retracement if you do break the extension. Although the extension break and the short of the 38.2 is not that really all that different. So that's something to think about. But that's all I've got for now. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.